It was a late September night in 1996. 16-year-old Melanie Ethier had spent the evening at a friend's house watching a movie with a small group. Just a regular Saturday night. Around 1:30 in the morning, Melanie left to walk home, taking the same familiar route she always did. But somewhere along that short walk, Melanie vanished and was never seen again. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, fair use is permitted for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Melanie Ethier was born on Christmas Day in 1980 to her mother, Celine Ethier, and her father, who was originally from Botswana, Africa. Although her father wasn't consistently present in her life, Celine worked hard to build a beautiful and stable home for Melanie and her younger sister. Melanie was described as bubbly, social, and full of energy.
Melanie was a very bubbly person. She had a good spirit about her, that she was always happy, and she hung out with a good crowd. She was good in school. She was responsible.
She had a naturally caring nature, which made her a perfect fit for her job at a local daycare. While still in high school, Melanie worked at the daycare attached to the school. Every morning, she'd arrive early to open it up before the full-time staff arrived. After classes, she'd return to help lead the children off the school bus, and she was often the one responsible for closing the daycare at the end of the day. Melanie was known for being trustworthy, dependable, and mature beyond her years. On the day of her disappearance, Melanie spent the afternoon with her best female friend, just doing some shopping, having pizza, and catching up. Later that evening, the two friends met up with a group of boys, including Melanie's new boyfriend. Around 9 to 9:30 p.m., the group stopped by a local video rental store and picked out the movie to watch together. It was a casual, ordinary night for the young teens. Around 10 o'clock p.m. that night, the group came by Melanie's house. Melanie asked her mom if they could watch the movie there.
Came over with her friends because they were supposed to be going to watch movies close to our place. She said that they couldn't go there to watch the movies, so she asked if she could watch them in her room. So I made the comment that her room was a mess.
But after seeing that room was messy, she decided they'd go somewhere else instead.
That was the last thing I saw of her. Then they walked out, and I looked at them walk away, but I guess it was the last time I saw her.
Her mother watched them walk off together in the direction of another friend's house. When they got there, they were told they couldn't watch the movie there either, so they left. The group eventually made their way to a house on Pine Avenue, where one of the boys, Ryan Chatwin, lived. His parents were home that night, but they stayed in their bedroom while the group settled in the basement to watch the movie. It was quiet and low-key, just a group of teens watching a movie late at night. There was no alcohol, no drugs, just a typical weekend hangout. As the movie played, the group slowly began to thin out. One of the boys left sometime between 12:30 and 1 a.m. Melanie's best friend left around the same time to catch a ride. On her way out, she encountered a car that made her uneasy. It was later described as a white or light-colored two-door vehicle that slowed as it approached. The moment was unsettling enough that she ran the rest of the route, the same route that Melanie would later take, and arrived at her destination at 1 a.m. Back at the Chatwin's house, only 3 people remained: Melanie, Ryan Chatwin, and Melanie's boyfriend. At some point between 1:30 and 2 a.m., Melanie got up to leave. One of the boys walked her to the door and watched her step outside and head west down Pine Avenue East, alone in the dark. That was the last time anyone saw Melanie Ethier. The next morning, Melanie's alarm went off around 6 a.m., the time she usually woke up to get ready for work at the daycare.
The next morning, her alarm went on, so I got up, I went to turn it off. I noticed she wasn't there. So I thought she must have fell asleep watching the movies, because she's done that before. So I went back to bed.
Celine got up again around 10 a.m., expecting that Melanie might be home by then, but she still hadn't returned. That's when the worry started to creep in. She called Melanie's best friend, the one who had been with her the night before, and asked if she had seen her. The friend was surprised. She said she thought Melanie had made it home and that she'd left the Chatwin's house sometime between 1:30 and 2 a.m. Still hoping for a logical explanation, Celine started calling around Melanie's job, the families she sometimes babysit for, wondering if she had picked up an extra shift somewhere, but there were no signs of her daughter Melanie. Melanie didn't show up to work at the daycare that morning either. At around 1 p.m., with no answers and a growing sense that something was very wrong, Celine contacted the New Liskeard Police Service to report her daughter missing.
So I contacted the police, and
it hadn't been 24 hours yet, but she made it clear this was completely out of character for Melanie. Within hours, police and local firefighters were already searching, checking the bridge she would have crossed on her way home. To get home, Melanie would have walked west along Pine Avenue, then turned south onto Armstrong, crossing the bridge over the Wabi River. From there, she'd take a narrow back alley, a shortcut she used often, before continuing up Church Street. It was a short, familiar walk Melanie took many times.
We dispatched our emergency response team. We also used the underwater search and rescue unit just to look in the Wabi River, and that did not reveal anything.
Police searched along her route from the friend's house all the way to her home, but there was no trace of Melanie, not a single sign of where she'd gone or what might have happened. In the days following Melanie's disappearance, her mother Celine put up posters around town with the help of Melanie's friends, including her boyfriend at the time and the boy whose house they had watched movies at. Both families were deeply affected by what happened. Melanie's then boyfriend, Neil Fortier, would later say that his biggest regret in life was not walking her home that night. Even decades later, he's continued to face accusations from some in the community who have blamed him for her disappearance. Ryan Chapman, the house where Melanie spent her last evening, has also expressed deep guilt over not making sure she got home safely. His family, too, has struggled with the emotional weight of that night. Celine has always maintained that she does not blame the Chatwin family, Melanie's boyfriend, or any of her friends for what happened. She has never believed that they were involved in her daughter's disappearance. Search teams were unable to find any signs indicating where Melanie had disappeared from or where she was taken. Officially, no evidence has been recovered in the case.
I don't feel in my heart that she's alive. It's been the same thing over and over. Whenever a body is found, you wait to see if it's her. I just want it to be over.
More than 2 decades have passed since Melanie Ethier left a friend's house and vanished into the night. There were no screams, no witnesses, no evidence left behind. Just a 16-year-old girl walking home and never arriving. Melanie's mother, Celine, has never stopped searching, never stopped hoping, and never stopped believing that someone, somewhere, knows the truth. And that's why we are sharing this story here on Lavender Files. Melanie Ethier was kind, responsible, and full of life. Melanie deserved to grow up, to finish high school, and to chase her dreams. Instead, her name remains frozen in time, one of too many young women who vanished in the 90s and never came home. If you have any information about the disappearance of Melanie Ethier, no matter how small it may seem, please contact the Ontario Police at 1-888-310-1122 or reach out to Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477.
I wish that they would find it in their heart to come forward and end that silence, to not go to the grave with that kind of information. I believe that it would give me peace. I would love to have a funeral for Melanie. Like, she deserves to be put to rest. I believe that's what she'd like, and I keep on fighting for her because she's not here to do it.
Before I give my thoughts into the case, I want to ask you all, what do you believe happened to Melanie Ethier? Do you believe there was foul play? Let me know in the comments. So here's how I feel about Melanie Ethier's case. Melanie wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. She was just with her friends, watching movies, planning to go home. That's it. That's what makes this so frustrating. It was such a normal night for Melanie, and she should have made it back to her mom. And yeah, people like to bring up her boyfriend not walking her home, but honestly, that wasn't weird back then. In the 90s, people felt safe doing things like that. Small towns were different. Walking a few blocks wasn't a big deal. No one expected something like this to happen to Melanie Ethier that night, but I do believe someone out there knows something. I don't believe she just vanished. And her mom, I think about her a lot. She's been sitting with this for decades, not having any real answers. That kind of pain is hard to even wrap your head around. And Melanie's friends, they probably carry that too, wondering if there was anything they missed. It's just sad all around. I really hope Melanie Ethier's mother can get the answers for her daughters and the justice she deserves soon. This is the case of Melanie Ethier, vanished in the 90s, a Lavender Files series. Thank you for listening. If you believe in keeping these cases present and bringing awareness to each story, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It helps more people find these stories and helps keep them from being forgotten. And if you'd like to know when new videos go up, you can also tap the bell icon and YouTube will notify you when we post new videos here at Lavender Files.